Emerging adulthood, ages 18 through 25, is a time of intense self-discovery where defining one's identity often comes with pressure and stress. Through the stories of 12 college students, this documentary explores how they navigate identity-related struggles and everyday challenges in a rapidly changing world. It's a journey of self-expression, resilience, and the search for meaning.
My name is Ellie Davis. I go by she, her. I am a senior, and so that means I am 22.
My name is Hunter Woodworth. I'm 21, junior here at UWL.
My name is Haley Reesberg. I am a sophomore. My name's Amanda. I am 21 years old.
My name's Anna Lancaster. I'm 22.
I'm Jackson Kinney. I'm 22 years old.
My name is Victoria Rose Ann Handel. I am a freshman here at UWL.
I'm Claire. I'm 22.
My name is Jackie. I'm 20 years old.
My name is Lily Hernandez. I am 19 years old.
My name is Luke Schneider. I'm 20 years old.
My name is Valerie Letter. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm 21.
I would define identity as
very confusing and complex.
It's very fluid. It should not be bound to one definition.
We're so much more than just like, oh, I'm a girl.
It's a big combination of things. So what you like to do.
Things that you know that you like about yourself.
Your belief system, your values, your sense of self.
Or physical aspects.
Qualities about myself that are identifying.
What I represent, what I kind of want the world to see about me.
All that comes together and it makes up you. Any college kid who, comes to college, they're gonna experience, an identity shift or a growth in their identity.
This is the prime time where it's okay, what are you gonna do with your life? Are you going to college? Are you gonna job? Do you have a relationship? When are you gonna get married? What are you gonna do for the next 30 years of your life? And that is so much to expect and ask for us. Nothing seems to be consistent, whether it's friends or your family or career in school, everything is just changing all the time.
For me in particular, being first gen and my parents not going to college, puts a lot of pressure on me to kind of explain what I want to do. They often don't like that I don't really know or I'm unsure.
It is a joke, but it is the truth. All college students are broke.
If you want to have fun, that's going to cost money. You want to do this, that's going to cost money. You want to get a coffee, that's $7.
Sometimes you just feel like you're not doing enough and you see people around you that might be doing more than you and think that you need to live up to that as well.
Being oh, I should be doing this. I should know exactly what I want to do.
If, someone asks me, oh, do you have a job lined up now that you're graduated? And I'm like, no, I don't. Then, it's hard expressing that to people because I think their stress for me makes me more stressed out for myself.
I struggle with my relationship with my roommates sometimes or with my friends and wanting to make time for them, but also feeling kind of consumed by my day-to-day things that kind of feel limiting.
Making friends can be a little weird just because as soon as they find out you're married, you have a husband, you have a house, you're 22, you're automatically the mom of the group.
And it can be really challenging to be your authentic self and be who you truly are because you have so many people in your ear telling you to be a certain way.
Life post-college does kind of stress me out a little bit just because I don't really know what to expect, and then I don't know what job I'm gonna get or things like that. I've even talked to multiple people about it. They're oh, how do you even make friends? Because we're in college now, we've always had we're always friends with the people in our classes or the people that you see on campus, but when you're in the real world, it's kind of what do you do?
I think that society does put a little pressure on, oh, you have to find a really good job where you're going to make a lot of money. I think there's a lot of focus on that. But, contrary, I think that there's also been a rise in people really no, do what you want to do. This is your life. You have free will to do what you want, so do it.
There's so many people who want to help you. They want to help you succeed. They want to help you become better. I think that's something that I've definitely noticed being at college and lacrosse is there are resources. You just have to not be afraid to ask for them.
I work at Student Support Services, which is like an office for first gen and like low income students.
The SSS Center has been a great resource for finding other people who, you know, they're first generation college students and they don't have a family legacy, that type of thing.
My job being an RA has really helped me feel connected on campus. I have met so many people and I've made a lot of close friendships and even just like acquaintances and stuff. Like I feel like everywhere I go I like see somebody that I know or that I recognize.
Well, it's been like 9 months since I graduated and like 6 months since I started therapy. And it has been like a world of difference. Being out of college has given me so much time to just explore like my inner world and how I think about things and how I talk to myself and how I prioritize things and what are important to me.
I really like spending time outside, listening to music, or I've been reading a lot lately. So that's also been a great way for me to kind of, you know, get my head out of whatever it's been stuck in that day.
When I know what's stressing me out, which is usually a paper or assignment, I try to just like make even the smallest progress on it.
I try and focus on my controllables. Going out for a walk, working out, or even going out shooting with my camera. I know journaling is good for me. It helps me get my thoughts out and kind of process it a little bit more. And if I feel like I don't want to bother other people, it's like, okay, it's just a book. Nobody cares. It's a book.
I like to go on a walk through Myrick Marsh. It helps clear my head. I get my steps in. I'll listen to music or podcasts, or sometimes don't listen to anything, just be in nature.
As growing adults, we all love to complain, and that's just kind of the nature of it. So we communicate about those kind of stresses a lot. In terms of identity-related stress, I don't know that there's much of that, and that's a much harder like thing to talk to somebody about. So, but you know, we have nights where you get into the weeds of, you know, who you are as a person and what you like about yourself and how can I be a better person? How can I change? You might ask questions like that to those that you feel comfortable talking to.
Since coming to college, like I've made a lot of like really close like female friendships that just like we just understand each other and we like have things that we can resonate with, and it feels like I'm talking to myself kind of. Through social media, I have a really good group of friends back at home. We text almost every day.
But when it comes to like hanging out with my friends that I've made on campus, we have to do our politics update, who heard this and saw what are we thinking about this, how do we feel.
My mom and my parents are like, they're always there for me to hear what I'm feeling and what I need, and if I need to come home or take like a mental health break or like really prioritize myself. Like my mom really advocates for me in that way.
Like I said earlier, my family didn't go to college, so it's hard for them to understand like what I'm going through here, and even if it's just as simple as like what I'm doing for housing next year or like paying your tuition bill. I think it's easier to talk to peers about that than it is family members.
Personally, I've had really positive experiences with social media. When I was first figuring out who I was and like dealing with my own sexuality in middle school, I would watch a ton of people on YouTube and it would be like my coming out story, and I would watch them and like gain comfort within them.
It kind of defines what your identity should be, or like how you should be or what you should be doing. And I think it can create stress about things that you didn't even know you should be stressing about.
Especially for younger people, it influences the way you feel about yourself. You see these people who might be idealistic in your brain, but it's just inachievable for you to look like.
2 years ago, I struggled like so badly with anxiety and depression because I was so obsessed with certain people on social media, or I was so obsessed with like comparing my life, or like you have something that I don't have and I want that. So I was like, I can't have that. So I was just like, it got to a point where I had to delete like social media for about 2 months I went like no Instagram, and I think I kept like 1 or 2 social medias that I still wouldn't be able to like find certain things on. So I would say it's definitely harmful.
With any social media, especially popular social media apps, you're constantly seeing other people. You're seeing your peers, you're seeing people who are your age, and everybody's at a different stage in life. But when you see someone that maybe you wish you were more like, or I wish I had that, I feel like it can cause unnecessary stress because it's like, do you really need that?
Social media is so interesting because, yes, you're putting yourself out there and kind of creating your identity in the form of a profile, but it's also still a presentation in a way.
I think as I've matured and spent time here in La Crosse, I've gotten a lot better at, having the same identity across where I am, but, everything's gonna differ depending on the situation you're in. Whereas like at work, more professional and maybe don't disclose certain things about myself as like frequently to like coworkers or people like I'm working with like in the store. But I think on the surface of what everyone sees, I have been trying to stay very true to like myself and present in the way that like I feel most confident in myself. But it's definitely hard meeting new people and emerging yourself in new groups and having to like renegotiate your identity and like kind of like share that with other people.
I was a COVID graduate. I graduated in 2021. My senior year was completely online, and it was quite the experience. After that, I was like not into starting college right away. I wanted to kind of get that time back in a way, so I wanted to travel, I wanted to meet people. I didn't want to jump into school because I'm also a first gen student, and with that, my family was not able to really help contribute anyway financially to my college success. So I decided to work, make sure that college was actually a part of my path.
I don't know that my identity has like changed a ton necessarily. I feel like coming to La Crosse and I mean honestly just like growing older, like I feel like I have accepted more aspects of my identity and like more of who I am, and I've kind of like let that out more, whereas like when I was younger, you try and like hide parts of who you are to like fit in with other people.
As a transfer student, I feel like my identity has changed just a little bit because I came in as a junior, whereas a lot of my peers have been here since their freshman year. So I kind of had to differentiate my identity from back home where I went to my 2-year college to UWL. There's some big differences between the two. And I think a big part was separating my home life, like as a child through basically I was 20 years old, to a new identity living independently on my own in college.
What I've been through like interpersonally with people has really changed what I value within myself. Like I really value the fact that like I really care about other people and that I care about myself and my boundaries and how I'm treated. And I think that I didn't really get that in high school, and coming to college has really changed how I feel like I prioritize myself.
When I think about my life post grad, I am terrified. It's a mix of terrified and excited. Part of me am like really looking forward to it. I think it's all going to work out, but I'm also so scared. Like I need to get a job tomorrow, and it's just not how it works.
You're kind of like looking forward to seeing what life does throw at you and just building your own life. But it's also terrifying because you don't know what opportunities you might have or you might lose. I don't like to think about it because it is a scary thing, but it's necessary, and you kind of just have to embrace the challenge as much as possible and go with the flow and hope that things don't throw you too off track.
I feel like I was more stressed before I came to college and not knowing what college kind of led to. And then since I've been here, I've kind of learned how to incorporate those aspects into my life and kind of living on my own. So I'm not as worried maybe as some other individuals are.
People talk about coming into college and it's like, oh, like you don't need to figure out your major. Like there's time for that. Like you'll figure it out as you go, whatever. But then like now I'm graduating in December and I'm like, oh, I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and I still don't feel like I have the right path that I want to be on. It stresses me out, but I've also come to terms with knowing that you don't have to jump right into the career that you're going to spend the next 10, 20 years of your life. You can take time to figure it out after college, and there are so many people that I know who went to college for something and do something completely different now.
Try to be as positive and optimistic as I can, because I find it's more draining to hold a grudge on something or be negative. I just like to try to not take things too seriously all the time.
My mom would be so happy to hear me say this. She's always like kind of told us like to be the buffalo, and so she always tells a story that is like, there's you could either be the deer or the buffalo. When the buffalo or when the deer sees that there's a storm coming, they just keep running away from it. And so they just keep running and running, and the storm just follows them. And the buffalo, like, when they see a storm's coming, they just stay in one place or they go towards the storm. So when the storm comes, like, they have to go through it, which is gonna suck, but then they're on the other side of it. So my mom's always saying, like, she texts me literally once a week, be the buffalo today.
I think it's just super important to be your true self and do what makes you happy, you know, present yourself the way that it's going to make you happy, because unless you are your authentic self, like, you're always going to have certain like shields up or masks on, and that's just not like the easiest way to live. And I know it can be hard to fully show yourself to others around you as well, but I think being authentic and just really sticking true to like what you value is so important.
Not everybody is handed the same deck of cards, so you just gotta adapt and realize that even though you may think that you don't have a lot, you have more than somebody else. And that in itself is just like, it just reminds me every day to be grateful and realize that, yeah, I may not have a perfect family, but like I have one, you know?
You'll find your people. Yeah, you'll definitely find your people.
When I'm really stressed about the future, about the state of the world, or just my anxieties like going off the wall, I just remind myself that like pretty much everyone feels this way at some point in their life.
It's not the end of the world to go through stress. Everyone deals with it. It happens. But just know that you have people that are going through it with you, and you're not alone. You are never alone in this. You just need to take that step and ask for help.